Hey, Pig.
I'm being serenaded. I feel like the prettiest girl in the room right now.
Pig is the prettiest girl in the room. You know,
Oh,
because you
oh,
are.
bro, Jack, you charm me so well. You charm me
Yeah,
so
well, I
well.
think you're kind of cute, so I whatever's. You want to hang out or something? I don't know. I'm very
That
intimidated by your Zerg knowledge.
I really want to go on like a holiday and just go down to like Boston or whatever and just enjoy, just enjoy. It's just something about that voice, man, that just makes me so happy.
Yeah, man. The proper like Southie Boston one is my favorite. I can't do it justice, but that's really the. Ugh. I have actually some. I have some family from Southie, and when I spend time with them, I just slowly morph into their accent. And if I spend enough time, I'm just like there all the time. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go get some coffee. And my sister will look at me like, "What did you just say?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get coffee. Sorry, I've been hanging out with the Olsons too long."
It's fantastic, man. And
But here we are at Fight Night. StarCraft is happening, and we've got a couple of awesome players coming up next. We've got Gravity's own Fight Night Semper, Terran player, and we also have Patience, whose ID in this game is going to be Big Boy.
apparently he's a bit of a parting fanboy, maybe.
Probably. I mean, he's a Protoss player. Parting's a Protoss player. You guys saying?
And I mean, everyone just sees that sweetheart visage of Patience as well, right? But they don't know, man. When this guy like wins a tournament or something, he parties hard. Like he goes out. I was so surprised the first time I saw this guy just like tossing back shots and stuff, and I'm like, but it's Patience. Like like it's past 9 p.m. Why is he still out and stuff? But he's actually a badass. Patience goes hard, man. Patience is a cool dude. So he's going up against Semper. Semper's actually Rep Meest. This ID is actually something where I ran into him on ladder, and there's something about the way I sounded out. It sounds so weird. There's something about it that just throws me off, like Rep Meest. But anyway, we're gonna have to remember it is Semper versus Patience, not Big Boy versus Rep Meest, as we go through this match.
I'm really glad that they, chose, regular IDs for their actual IDs instead of, Big Boy and Rep Meest. It's just good for esports, and I appreciate them making that sacrifice and not choosing the Big Boy as their actual ID. Patience, maybe much more refined. Like, yes, he's patient. He's very in control, and then of course, you've got Semper, which is like Semper Fi, which is like, it's like power and awesomeness. So we've got yellow versus pink here in the lobby. How do you feel about those color choices? They're a bit off. They're not the usual color choices.
Yeah, I mean, it harks back to my 12-year-old self when I was playing Warcraft 3, and I'd always want my orcs to be pink because pink ones fight better, apparently. Pink ones go faster, as someone familiar with Warhammer 40K might say. But yeah, this is going to be kind of horrible to look at. Yellow versus pink are the two worst colors in the StarCraft 2 arsenal. Like they don't show up that well. They look kind of Yellow is not too bad, but the pink especially, it lacks color. It's definitely not a hot pink.
Yeah, I would prefer more of a hot pink. This is more heading towards the pastel area, and even the yellow as well. I mean, this is not Easter, okay? This is StarCraft. Please get some color saturation. Be really appreciated, Blizzard. Thank you. Very important request from us, and we have starting over here. In the bottom left hand, choosing pink color side of the map place, it is Big Boy, also known as Patience.
And he has his work cut out for him because he is going to be playing some PvT. P versus Terran up against this guy over here. It is Semper.
All right, so Pig, no Zergs here, so your Zerg heart, must be a little bit sad. But have you been messing around with Protoss and Terran at all in the beta?
I've played a little bit of Protoss. I haven't had a chance to play as Terran yet, but in PvT, yeah, I found it quite interesting. I mean, I remember speaking to Iagas quite a bit about it, and he was saying he gets really annoyed because Protoss just puts down a Nexus at 4 minutes at their third base and builds a pylon next to it, and he doesn't really like attacking because then they put down 2 more pylons and he can't do anything. He's basically been very vocal about his issues with the pylon overcharge. But at the same time, as it gets to that 4 base plus stage, I have heard a lot of Protoss players complaining that it's just, well, I mean, the mothership core can't be everywhere past a certain point. As your armies get bigger, it's just not as important. And the Terran mobility still kind of, I've heard, can sometimes reign supreme.
Yep, absolutely the case. We also have the idea that mechanical units are a little bit more interesting. There's a little bit of changes going on in the world of Legacy of the Void. So we move one step closer to maybe mech versus Protoss. We're not talking about EJK or Zizla here, unfortunately, because they would mech. But we will have some sick TVP action coming on up. Usual type stuff happening. Build adepts because adepts are good. Build a mothership core because pause please. Which is, the standard transition that I usually go for, which is adept into pause please. How do you feel about that transition? It's not a straight F10N, which is pretty wild. Apparently there is sun in his face, which is rough.
I can feel that. Like, there's this one moment. I'm in a new place, so it used to get me really bad around 1 p.m. for like 2 hours. But nowadays, there's literally like a 3-minute period at like 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon where the sun hits this angle where if my blinds are open even slightly, it just like shines in my eye like this death ray. And it is like the worst thing to play with. So looks like he's got to close up his blinds a little bit.
Yep.
Pull down that to cover it up. Of course, it is the morning time over there in Korea, where pretty sure Patience is living at the moment.
Yep, and going to get out of there with that SCV before the Adept comes out, or it's too late and death rains down upon him. Our Protoss player going to be going for Robotech here.
Interestingly, 3 barracks for Terran as well off the CC first. I mean, what sort of styles have you been seeing from Terran? Is it mainly just straight to like bio medevac? Are there any big changes or like Liberators coming in early or any of the new units?
It's interesting. I feel like Protoss vs Terran has always been the most stable and standard matchup that has the least number of changes in what people do. And I feel like even in Legacy of the Void, it's still probably one of the least changed matchups. You still, I think, seeing a lot of bio. And a nice block over here to prevent the Adept scouting in. And, you add in a couple of Adepts to... I mean, we had the crazy stuff, right? We had the 4-gate Adept, crazy era. Adept's got 1,000 HP and you can't kill it. But I think that the Adept has been pulled back a little bit. It's in a nice place right now. So we're going to see, I think, just some... like, bio's not completely... useless if the player builds an Adept here. So the Adept can be used for scouting and just going to be sort of moving into Robo, getting the Observer, and getting ready to make some reactions here. And like you said, that Nexus before 4 minutes, absolutely brutal economically, just super, super fast 3-base.
This was insanely fast. Yeah, I think it went down, just after 3-minute mark. So fast. Semper has scouted that. So Semper's actually reacting with a fast third command center of his own. He's starting up Stim, steadily adding on his reactors, and going for that factory for that starport tech. So it definitely looks like he wants to build up into that sort of bio medevac tech path, wants to do it off 3-base. And we are going to see both players rushing in that direction. Now, composition-wise, with the Robo on the way, the Warp Prism coming out, and now the Forge and Twilight going down for Patience, looks like he will be looking to put on some pressure, probably add on some either Blink for defensive play or the Adept attack speed upgrade, maybe Charge as well. But really what I've been hearing a lot about is just Blink Stalker, Adept with their attack speed upgrades with Blink, and of course, beefed out with everyone's favorite Protoss unit right now, the Disruptor. So having a lot of disruptors in that kind of just mixed gateway army has been performing really well for Protoss players lately, as long as they can kind of stop the drops and not get out positioned. And it definitely looks like Patience is going to be kind of gearing up in that direction right now.
Yep, absolutely. Massive number of Marines here from Semper. He's going to be finishing up Stim relatively soon. He's going to swap over. He's going to have his double medevac production ready to go. He was ready for the Oracle, but it did not come. Oracle was not the choice. Did even throw out a scan just to be sure about what the tech choices was, and got everything in one nice scan, which worked out quite well. This Observer, though, just hanging out, seeing exactly what's going on. So Patience will be able to react accordingly and make just the right moves here. Going to be warping in some Adepts and looking to drop them, I think, in the natural.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be really good. The units are very far out of position here for Semper. These Adepts are going to do a lot of damage very quickly, so he's dropping them in now. Going to be starting to snipe down these SCVs. Already 2 going down, already starting to shade into the main base, forcing 5 SCVs to be killed, soon to be a 6th, and going to teleport into the main, right into the bio, though. Oh, and all those units disappear.
Yeah, that was a moment for a cancel.
Yeah, 6S. Oh, the Stim almost gets the Warp Prism. Very close. A little bit sloppy there from Patience. But keep in mind, behind this Patience has been so greedy. He is on 68 probes. He's already taken down the rocks for his 4th. He's got almost no units. He's got 2 Adepts, a Sentry, and a Mothership Core. And only now is he making more Sentries, making those Disruptors. So he's been able to be so greedy here, building up off so few units. Meanwhile, Semper is only just landing his 3rd base. And like you were saying before, Jack, I think he's been a little bit too safe in terms of, like, he was scanning, he was, like, checking, making sure he's got missile turrets everywhere. I feel like Patience has cut a lot more corners than Semper this game.
Oh, yeah, in a major way. Even we had a double drop about to go out from Semper, and he ended up pulling it back. So just the amount of delay that's going on here, I think it's going to allow Patience to be able to get up enough of a defense here. He is, like you said, still very low on units, and this attack is moving across the map, but he should be able to warp in. He's got 5 Stalkers on the way right now with that fast warp in next to the Nexus, and beginning to build up his Ball of Doom, getting the Resonating Glaives, also known as Adept Attack Speed Upgrade. And here we go, sending out a nice little... Ooh, very nicely done, very avoided there. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh wow, that's...
5% of your army, Semper. That has got to hurt. Oh no. Just coming down out of the high ground, out of vision. That was so damn scary. I think he might have been glancing on the right-hand side. His Liberator just chased down the Warp Prism and did actually shoot it down. But man, that was brutal, really cutting into his pressure. And I mean, Semper's still ahead in supply. His macro is fantastic, but you got to do something with that macro. I definitely still feel like the bigger the armies get, the more awkward this gets for your Terran players. I mean, maybe Ghosts can come in, but that's such a late transition. It's kind of like the Raven transition was in Zerg vs Terran in HOTS. It's something which happens like 35 minutes into the game. The next 10 minutes has got to be focused on Semper trying to take edges wherever he can.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough scenario. He is going to be able to scout this pylon, which is a small victory. And like you said, he's going to need a whole lot of those if he's going to want to get back into this game. Patience going for a 4th base already, just staying ahead in every possible way right now, in size of army, in workers, in economy, and also in tech here. He's going to make a scan. He notices that the army is a bit out to the side. Should be able to snipe this down, force to cancel, nicely, quickly canceled, just at the last minute there. A couple of disruptor attacks moved out there, but not enough. Oh, and he's gonna get the kill that time. Nicely done. Patience is just going to keep rebuilding this over and over again. Nice force fields there. It manages to pick off a couple of units, and this is going to pull the units of our Terran player back just a little bit. In the meantime, though, we have a triple drop coming in on the left side. You got to keep that in mind. A lot of this is the army is way out of position for this, and it hasn't been scouted. Here it comes. He's going to drop into the main production area. The pylon overcharges are everywhere, and even the disruptor. Nice pickup getting out of there, but oh my god. What does that even... 25 energy. Holy my god.
Let's keep in mind he did drain the entire energy of the mothership core there, so maybe if Semper was a bit quicker to pick up and get out of there, like turn around after all the overcharges go down, that could have been a different story. But meanwhile, the right-hand side, Patience is chasing the army down, really pushing him back. And I mean, Patience, he's building Tempests. I'm a little bit staggered by this. I think he just realizes that because the Terran can't really attack into the Disruptors, if he has the Tempests as well, he can just pick away forever. Adding a mothership core, I mean, Patience is really playing for the late game here. And if he can hang on for a bit longer, it's going to be great for him. Semper, meanwhile, he's just adding Marines, adding Marauders. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's adding his flyer upgrades and Fusion Core as well right now. So it might actually be going to get Liberators and upgrade the range upgrade on them. But with Tempests already out, that is completely pre-counted.
Yeah, he's in a really rough spot with this Tempest situation, especially with all of these Disruptors as well. He's going to try moving, get some damage here, but it really is this, I can almost feel the frustration of Semper here just moving in. It just seems futile every single time, just coming in, you know, beating your head against the wall here, and it's just a really rough scenario. He is going to pull back here, and we continue this dance of the Terran ball versus the Protoss ball. The war of the blobs as they move back and forth, the swift blobs as they were. And I mean, the main problem is just the economy and the technology so much in the advantage of Patience here.
Advanced ballistics is on the way for Semper, but he's teching towards an irrelevant tech path. These Liberators aren't going to do anything with Tempests on the field. They're going to be able to outrange them so damn far. And yeah, it looks like Patience. I mean, he's maxed out here. He's got a nice army, and he's starting to get antsy. He wants to start pushing out of the map, clearing out space for himself. Meanwhile, left-hand side, we do see a big attack coming in from Semper. There is a mothership core here, as well as some adepts to deal with it, but that is a pretty big bioforce.
Yep, Mothership now has the photon overcharge as well, something that used to get lost when you transported the core into the actual Mothership of the Cloaking Field. It is now around and still quite powerful, very difficult to deal with. And just really great army splitting from Patience here, just having enough to defend the flank on the left side while taking the main army engagement and still remaining cost efficient.
And that Mothership is so fast now. It's always so funny to see. Just it actually keeps up with the army really quite well. It's coming across the right-hand side to join up with everything. Oh, it's going a little bit AWOL. But it looks like Patience says, hey, it's time. I've got 6 Tempests. That's enough to easily one-shot the Liberators. And he can just kind of push his way in little bit by little bit. We see the Liberators, trying to set up here some defensive positioning, but this is going to be completely impotent against the Tempests. Look at that.
Oh, and that Observer, too.
Already going down.
Look at that.
Very nicely done.
Yep, just really well done with that Observer. It's got its own little special control group right there, making it happen. He's going to move in. He's got a bunch of Vikings. He's going to try to focus down this Mothership quite quickly. He's got a decent arc over here, but isn't going to be enough.
Wow.
It's right at the top of the map. Oh, no. Now he's gauging only with half his army at a time. Huge hits with the... Oh, my God. Gigantic hits with those, and he's moving in. He does have a flank from the left side as well, and it looks like he's going to clean this up.
Yeah, Semper, I mean, it looked awkward at first, but that army on the backside completely dodged all the disruptor shots. Patience wasted his disruptor shots on the left-hand side of the army, didn't hit home with them, only got one good disruptor shot in that entire fight. And with that gone, it was Marine Marauder versus a bunch of gateway units without Guardian Shield, a bunch of Tempests which weren't really contributing into the fight, and the Marine Marauder alone was able to just crash over that in a huge wave. And what have we got at home here for Patience? He's got Stalkers and a couple of Tempests. He doesn't have enough disruptors in this army, and he did not save the shots on those disruptors. He did not use them effectively enough. Semper making great use of that full surround.
Might be being a little bit of an overextension. He's losing a lot of his forces right now. Oh man, absolutely rough. He is getting harassed on the other side of the map, so it is difficult to deal with. But just when you thought he caught a break, a little bit of an overextension there puts him back in his place.
Interestingly, though, he did take out all the Tempests. There's only 2 that have been rebuilt, and he has 4 Liberators right now with a lot more building at a time. Keep in mind, you can build these 2 at a time out of reactors, and if there's any moment where there isn't enough sort of Tempests and anti-air, those Liberators just setting up in their defender mode, they're going to destroyed the ground army of Patience so damn hard. So Semper's actually playing this very calmly and very precisely right now. He's got that base up on the left-hand side, but DT is now coming in over here, being very annoying. Patience really putting the pressure onto Semper and making it very hard for Semper to stabilize.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and attack that planetary fortress right now. I don't think he will get it in time.
He's really going to stop that turret. That's huge miss, Micro.
He's one swipe away from the... oh, he ends up doing the scan in any case, so... should be just fine. He gets the planetary down to half health, but half health planetary mines just as fast as a full health.
Patience army is so bare here. Oh, he's got some Templar. Storm. Okay, Storm's just about to finish. With the Storm, I can understand this, but he has got 90 probes right now. I'm not sure Patience realizes how huge his economy is, or he somehow thinks he can do it with just so much money, because this is insane. Patience has about 25 to 30 probes not actually mining or mining effectively right now, so he might not realize how tiny his army is. He's kind of gone on autopilot and he's lost track of how big his economy is. So this tiny army needs to defend this huge Terran force encroaching on his territory, and he needs to do it with just fantastic micro and position, because he definitely doesn't have the numbers right now.
And on top of that, he doesn't even have the economic advantage, despite the fact that he has so many workers. It's just all around really inefficient, and it's costing him a lot here. As long as he can, trade out those workers and move on, and he doesn't lose any critical engagements during this moment of vulnerability, he'll be okay. But if Semper can capitalize on this, it's going to be a big move into stepping towards his victory here.
Oh, Patience going for a big move up here, but Defender mode coming down, starting to zone this army out. But a bit too much overlap there. I think Semper could corner this army if he pushes forward a little bit harder, a little bit faster. But Patience slipping away. Semper being very careful because he's distracted at the back once more. Big Adept attack coming in, picking off the ghosts which are trying to be added into the composition. And Semper, he's getting so eager to attack the front because he doesn't have the units to deal with the counterattack, so he just wants to dive on top of this army and kill everything right now.
Oh man, some of the EMPs there absolutely great, stopping a lot of the force fields that might have protected him and allowed him to retreat. He's going to take out this Nexus. In the meantime, we do have 8 Adepts in the base of Semper here, running through, going to get tons of worker kills, 11 workers killed already, and he's moving in though, but the main army fight is a big deal. Ooh, this hit's coming in. Just barely dodges it. Excellent control over here. He's going to get into position with the Defender mode. Liberators over here moving in with the bio. In the meantime, it looks like at home things have been cleaned up, and this is a dominant position for Semper. Once behind, has got himself into a great spot here.
There's just no answer for this Liberator bio composition right now. There are not enough Tempests out. Tempest's just coming out now and dying to the Vikings instantly. I mean, he's got DTs coming in from behind, but the scan goes down. He sees them, shoots them down with those ghosts, and right now we see Patience desperately pushing across the map. He's got so many Stalkers in his army, but he just wasn't able to make it work earlier on with those units that he needed to. The Disruptors, the Tempests, the combination hasn't worked out for him, and instead he's making a huge bastion over at his 4th base, warping in more Templar, more Stalkers, more Zealots, and it's all. But we've got Liberators at home in Defender mode. We've got a Bio Ball here. Semper defending really well right now.
Yeah, it just it's pretty tough, especially if you even look at the supplies at this point in time. Just get in Defender mode on that ramp. It's going to be really difficult for anyone to move in. All these Stalkers getting shot down by the Liberators almost immediately.
Man, that is brutal. Semper just picking Patience apart right now. He's got the Liberators and the Bio just crashing through the main base, even though Patience has so much money saved up, because even as he loses probes, he's got extra. But oh, very nice Storms, taking out a lot of the Liberators. These Stalkers, oh man.
Oh, Stalkers
Semper
cleaning up as well. Absolutely crazy. The Liberator count is down to 5, much higher before. But he's still got this absolutely brutal army just camped right in the middle of Patience's base, and this is just, how is he going to deal with it? One of the advantages is we mine out so much faster in Legacy of the Void, so these bases, from an economy standpoint, aren't as important, or even important at all, as they're completely mined out. So you can see he's rebuilding over in the side of the map where he needs to protect his resources. He's starting to rebuild, but he's got a long uphill battle ahead of him.
Yeah, right now, Patience going to try and eliminate one of Semper's most important bases on the left-hand side, but with just an Adept Stalker force, he isn't going to be able to take that on. And this small Bio force coming in with its superior range and damage output, picks off a few Adepts, and then pulls back to consolidate. The mass repair on the planetary is going to be great. For now, all Patience can do is deny the mining there, and, Semper's going to slowly clean it up. He is pumping out more units, and GG. I mean, Patience he would have had to rebuild his entire production and tech on the right-hand side of the map. But a commanding play from Semper. I mean, we looked like he was slowed down in the mid game a bit too much, but Patience
Yeah.
just did not have the answer for that late game Bio Liberator composition. He just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, I think that misplay with the overproduction of the probes there really hurt him, because it's not just that he had too many probes, but he had a lot of probes that he couldn't even make use of. He just didn't have the mineral patches to use those probes, and it really hurt his army composition. And Semper was able to make a lot of really good tactical plays that cut his way into the game and eventually roll forward for that victory.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, there was every probe on his back natural was just sitting idle. And all the probes at his third base, there was only like 2 or 3 mineral patches, and he still had 16 probes mining minerals. So he had about 25, 30 probes just kind of chilling, not really doing anything. And 90 probes, I mean, that's huge. Because Patience, I liked his game plan. He had a really cute game plan. He had a very smart game plan. He was like, all right, I get up my defense, the Stalkers, the Adepts, kind of your mobile anti-drop. You add your disruptors, which just allow you to crush big fights if they kind of all commit at once. And then you add Tempests to counter the Liberators. And I was like, well, this is really smart. And then, you can add Storm on behind that. But what we saw is he got surrounded by that huge flank from Semper. It looked a bit awkward at first, but he just didn't use his disruptors quite right. He only had about 3 disruptors in that huge army, and it didn't quite pay off for him.
Yeah, that flank was amazing, though. In that one battle that I feel turned the tide was just absolutely nuts. Just really great micro. But enough of the past. Towards the future, we have here in game, spawning in the top left-hand corner of our screen, it is the player who is pink and Protoss and perfect. It's Patience.
Needed a little bit more patience last game because he was going up against this guy, and now taking the first game here, it is Semper. Showing some very strong macro play in that game one. Looked very focused on that Liberator composition, and I mean, I feel kind of bad because I was saying, like, I think Patience is already ready for this, the Liberators aren't going to be that useful, but if we think about it, I mean, with the range upgrade, maybe, I mean, the Tempests are still going to take a long time to pick away at the Liberators, and we did see that Semper actually added Vikings later on as well. So he's got kind of like a Bio-Liberator Viking, and the army steadily swaps to a more and more air focus. And I guess that's where Storm comes in, and I do feel like technically Patience Protoss has the tools to deal with that sort of stage of the game, but he's really got to kind of control it very precisely. You can't let your Tempests get away. You've got to use your Storms defensively when the Vikings come forward. And if you do all that together, I think you can definitely make it happen. But Semper just looked a little bit more straightforward and confident. And as we said, I mean, Patience is going to need to keep a much better track on his economy this time around in order to make this work out.
Yeah, the tactical play is so important when you're playing with Tempests. They're really powerful, but very, very fragile. Easy to get caught out. You have to be so patient with them, moving just in the right spot, not overextending. And we did see that point in time where the overextension happened, and the units were, all except 2 were killed off. So in that point in time, the air battle switched very heavily in the favor of Semper. He was able to close it out. So far here, we have relatively quick expansions from both players. Nothing too crazy. Reactored Marines coming out. Again, Semper favoring this heavy Marine composition in the beginning of the game.
Yeah. This is interesting. It's just really weird. I was a little bit distracted there because my camera has actually rotated to an odd angle during the intros when I was following our observer cam, and now it's frozen on a weird angle. So I can still see the game perfectly.
All you have to do is go to one of the first-person views of the player, and then go back to you, and you'll be all fixed.
Thank you very much. All right, awesome. I was like, everything is on this skewed angle. It's so weird. I'm freaking out here. I've never had this happen before. Cool. All right, so we do see from Patience, he's going to open up a bit differently this game. Going for the fast Stalker. Oh, but Semper setting up a little trap here. Patience gonna walk into
Oh,
these
I love this.
Marines. Oh, does set the trap a little bit too early maybe, but does a lot of damage to the Stalker. Either way, that's a big win. Holds the Stalker back, does some nice damage, and accidental lift on his orbital at the natural. Semper adjusting that, trying to make sure he gets that in good position. And Semper has gone for the 1-1-1. We are going to see a very fast Widow Mine drop. He's got the barracks, he's got the factory, he's got the starport. And that going up against, Phoenixes from Parting. How fortuitous. That's fantastic against Widow Mine drops. But Semper scans it. Do you think he just cancels the drop now? Or do you think he kind of just tries to sneak it in once the Phoenixes hit his side of the map?
Well, he's got the SCV over on the side to sort of scout on that angle just a little bit. The Stalker is coming back across the map, but it's just going to be a really difficult thing to pull off. I think this is one of those moments where you just say, all right, it didn't work out. I'm going to try to instead use the Widow Mines maybe to catch the Phoenixes where I think they'll fly in, something like that. But,
Yeah.
I think, that's maybe the safer play, whereas the risky play would be to go for it anyway. He's going to load up a full medevac of Marines and fly
Oh, he's going to
towards
try
a
to
Phoenix.
boost onto the
Oh,
Phoenix. Oh, was going to try and finish that off. That's really cute. And not getting it, also not being spotted. He will just kind of send this across the map, try and do a little bit of pressure. And we can see with that SCV at the third, with the drop now coming, his plan here really might be around, like, let's see if we can delay the third of Protoss. Let's see if we can slow down his progression a little bit. But this time around, we see from Patience, he doesn't care about the fast third. He's getting Phoenix out and going straight to Disruptor Tech. So it's actually not really his focus to rush to 3 bases. Instead, he's going to go straight for this tech army and then expand much more gradually. Maybe even do some sort of crazy Phoenix Disruptor all in. So, though I don't think that's really an option.
all right. So that force of Marines just gets scouted. They denied a move out there from the probe, potentially getting a position for an expansion, but not a lot of money saved up. So it's probably a little ways off. Like you said, expanding a little bit more gradually this game. In the meantime, in the Terran base, we are getting up to that nice full production from the 2 bases, beginning to crank out all of the units. And at this point in time, we're just sort of very defensive. Wonder who's going to be taking their... Oh my god! Nice pickup. Excellently done. Avoiding that shot.
Man.
That
I almost have a heart attack every time I see that.
That's like box art stuff. It's like, this is what the disruptor will be used for. This is how it's countered. And it just actually happens in a game, and you're like, oh, okay, Prima strategy. Okay, all right. That happens. Okay, I deal with it. Nicely picked off here.
2 Phoenixes for his trouble. So not the worst trade in the world. Thankfully, he doesn't lose the whole medevac for free. And he did slow the 3rd base down now. Patience looking very eager to push across the map with his single adept sentry disruptor and 2 stalker army, as well as his Phoenixes. Wants to just start using his disruptor to put pressure on. I mean, he got the disruptors out earlier this game. He knows their explosive power, so he can really scare the Terran player and force him to stare at his army by just applying the pressure. You show some disruptors, you can do that, and reinforcing with a 2nd disruptor with a few more stalkers. This could actually be really powerful.
Absolutely. Similar to the fear of the Muta, the fear of the DT, the fear of the disruptor is real and has a psychological and mechanical effect on your opponent, despite the fact that he's going to move in. And oh my god, what a hit! Taking out about a quarter of the Bioforce there just in one quick, swift move. He's going to back up and get in position here. He's rallying around his pylon. Should be able to warp in. Phoenixes are now up to 6, so should be able to deal with these medevacs pretty well if he gets into a nice position, potentially looking for some spots where he can pick up any reinforcements. Does manage to grab a Marauder and a couple of Widow Mines as well.
Very nice pickups there with the Phoenix. I mean, killing the rocks is fantastic for Semper, it's buying time, but with these Phoenix continuing to get damage done, it's looking really hard. He's got some great Widow Mines set up, but oh, the Phoenix picking up the 2 Widow Mines at the front. Patience is getting so much value here, and with these extra disruptors, it's just looking very scary. 2 disruptors in his force. Actually, his other one, I believe, is just at home. But yeah, he's going to be grouping all that up now. And I mean, Patience wasn't really focused on just killing here. He's probing up his 3rd. He's going to be taking the gases there shortly. He's probably going to be going for a 4th base soon thereafter. Meanwhile, Semper, his 3rd base is also finishing up. They're on pretty even par with that economy. But I think Patience may have learned his lesson from last game about the late game army composition and how to use that. And what has this pressure really achieved? It's delaying the upgrade. Semper's been so distracted, he's only just now dropping his engineering bays, and that's really slowing him down. He's only got the +1 attack, no +2s on the way, only +1 armor about a third of the way done.
Yep, and beginning to wail away at those bunkers, getting in pretty good position here. Soccer getting picked off, and some nice force fields. Oh my god, what a play. Drops the force fields down, sends the attack of the Disruptor through the force field, nails it directly in the center of the army. That's... You gotta be ridiculously happy about that as a Protoss player.
Oh, look at this. Adepts in the main base. Yeah, there's a Widow Mine. Okay, the Warp Prism goes down, but where's the bio suddenly? There's so little bio after the Disruptor shot went down. Patience exerting his mechanics here, his multitasking. He's just pulling Semper this way and that, and Semper cannot keep up right now. And this force at the front is still very scary. It's still very frightening. Semper needs to constantly have his eyes on that because those Disruptor shots can just shred his army whenever he's not looking at it. If this pressure keeps up much longer, Semper, I mean, he needs to find a way to push Patience out of his territory. He needs to get him out of here.
Absolutely, just really utilizing or abusing the attention of your opponent, really being utilized here by Patience, waiting for the right moment here. He's going to be moving in with a couple of Disruptor shots. Does get a little bit there, not the big juicy hit that you hope for, but it does. It just constantly pushes the Terran back there, forces them to run away instead of actually shoot, and get some free shots off, attacking a Liberator there with the Phoenix.
Oh man, this Bioforce is so weak. I mean, even just the Stalkers can take it on right now. The Blink on top of everything. The Phoenix is just picking up the last few Marauders. Everything going down, and Semper has to tap out. GG. Very well played by Patience.
Just those super, super quick Disruptors and really getting a lot of good hits off. Really good positional play. Being patient. And just waiting for those right moments to make the tactical decisions happen and get his advantage out.
And what a convincing win it was there. Patience saying, you know what, I am going to push here, I'm going to push there, I'm going to keep the pressure on all game long. And I mean, we kept saying it, but just the pressure of the Disruptors, the pressure that Phoenix has put on, forcing you to defend all those back areas which you're not normally focused on. And I really think I think Semper was maybe a little behind. He was feeling the pressure, but I think the finishing blow was the Warp Prism comes in the main, warps in the depths, Semper looks away, Disruptor shot, bam, on his army. Wipes out like, what, 8 Marines, 3 Marauders or something crazy. Big chunk of that army. He has to split backwards. He loses his bunker positioning at the front. And it was that constant distraction which really allowed Patience to grab the edges. Remember when the Phoenix came in on the production, he picked up he got him, distracted him, came back up to the north with the Phoenix, picked up the 2 Widow Mines that he'd left behind, and the Bio Army was kind of back in the main base. He kept grabbing those edges. So Patience, I think, decided that game. He said, you know what, I've won friggin' big tournaments. I've done really well. I'm going to actually just exert that skill, that raw ability to multitask and come in from different angles. And I think that's really what you should be trying to use in Legacy of the Void. And we saw it paid off for him big time there.
Yeah, I think especially with the Disruptor, because it is this unit that forces your opponent into staring at one location on the map and really paying attention to their army. Just even the smallest drop is going to, over time, just on average, you're going to hit them when they're not paying attention. And it doesn't really cost you all that much. Just send the Disruptor shot out. Send it out, try it. Oh, it didn't hit. Just keep sending it out, and eventually it is going to hit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a nice stabilizing win there for Patience. He's now 1-1 going into the next map. And, of course, it's going to be a very important point here, going to Ruins of SERAS.
And we have on Ruins of SERAS spawning in the top right-hand corner of our screen, we've got the yellow Terran, Semper.
And Semper's currently teamless, right?
No, Semper's on Team Gravity.
Ah, Team Gravity, right, of course. Herp.
Neeb is teamless.
Neeb out. Protoss on the left-hand side, of course. It is Neeb. Patience, right. Wow. Brain dirt.
It turns out you're a human being after all.
Apparently. Should have eaten my Vegemite this morning. But Apparently my brain's not too switched on. Of course, Patience really showing us some good play in that second game, and I think he's gonna keep it up. He's not gonna do his 90 probe style again this series. Of course, while we're going through the early stages, do want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors, Azubu, of course, who have put up all the prize money for these show matches. Of course, the next one, the big kind of final show match after this one, is going to be Dongre-gu versus Bravo as well, which will be a crazy ZVT. Very much looking forward to that. So big thanks to Azubu. Of course, there's also some giveaways going on. All you need to do is follow Azubu on Twitter as well as Team Gravity, and just tweet your Azubu username. You can win some of those. Also, big shout out to, of course, Spawning Tool, Matcherino. There's links in chat for all these sponsors. You guys can check them out. You can go and actually contribute to the prize pool just by signing up on the websites as well.
Absolutely. Get on that. If you haven't got on it already, you're doing it wrong. It's okay because you're a human, you make mistakes, but we're here to help you out so you make less. In the area of the Protoss, we've got, just an average, regular timed expansion. We've got nothing out just yet, but we should see an adapter for Scoutification Station soon. Maybe we'll find out. And on the Terran side, we've just got this another 1-1-1. So last time he was a little thrown off his game, wasn't able to do that Widow Mine drop. Maybe he'll be able to pull it off this time around.
And keep in mind, his command center is much slower this time around, and also Patience scouted him first with the probe, so he knows exactly what's going on. It's exceptionally fast gas factory into the starport, so Patience is really going to be like well prepared for mentally the different options. Now, things aren't really set in the stone, so there are a lot of different options. Of course, until recently on this map, I'm sure this sort of opening would indicate probably a Liberator rush, but with no second gas going down, with the Liberators being nerfed, looks like we are going to see a Widow Mine and then Hellions and Medevac production. Definitely looks like some of that Heart of the Swarm-esque. Let's get in there, try and do some damage to the Protoss early. Let's see, what does Patience actually have ready for that? He's got really nice pylon placement, actually, in the middle of his natural. That could work really well with Nexus Overcharge.
Yep, absolutely. One of those interesting things that I really do like about the pylon overcharge is maybe it is a little bit too strong right now, some people think, but that it becomes this positional thing where all of a sudden you just have this extra thing you need to think about. You want to plan out where your pylons are for your defense, as well as for the things that you want to power, as well as for where you want to wall. So it becomes this fun little positional puzzle to figure out just where the best place to put all of your buildings are as a Protoss player. And Hellions coming and chasing down this Adept here. Going to be able to, I think, just barely clean it up. Oh, yes, indeed. For the cost of 1 Hellion, you shall destroy 25.
Here comes the drop. The Observer's just starting. There is a Widow Mine here. Looks like Semper's going to be going for the old school style where he kind of controls the area between the two bases. There is a Phoenix out, and all of these Marines looking quite scary, but he's not getting any crucial damage done just yet. And oh, he's moving right into that mineral line. Going to focus down a couple of probes here. Where's the Mothership Core? It's chilling down in the natural, defending the Hellions. So the Hellion dives into the main of these Marines. They're being very annoying. They've damaged a lot of probes, but they haven't actually killed a lot yet. So, oh man, I mean, Patience is defending very well so far. He just needs to be very patient, and as he gets a few more units out, I think he's going to go in on this. He's pulling probes.
Oh, he's getting pretty aggressive here with the probes pull here. We're up to 6-7 workers killed. Not as good as you want it to be, but in the same way, not too awful. Up to 8 kills now with that last little bit. Pulling the probes really put Semper into the reasonable area of damage where it's like, okay, we can continue on the game. I'm still behind in workers because that late command center, but it's not a losing situation. It's just a slightly behind kind of area, and the Phoenix is coming in to try and push that out and make it a little bit worse for our buddy here, Semper.
I think the onus is really on those Phoenixes to get damage done soon, because keep in mind there's double mules dropping. Each mule's worth a couple of SCVs, not as much as it used to, but still a few. And with him almost being on par in workers with Patience, I definitely think we have an edge here for Semper. Of course, his production slowed down a little bit, but these Phoenixes, yeah, this is their time. They need to come in, they need to start picking away, taking little edges, ripping away at the economy a little bit, because otherwise Semper, he's going to have a big boom in that production, a big boom in that economy and everything soon enough. He's adding on Stim, combat shields, and his +1 attack for his bio. He's got that siege tank out for safety, and he's now starting that double medevac production.
Yep, just going for this almost marine tank action going over here. If he were to build more, very likely will not. But it's a very nice little play. He does build that one tank for the safety in the case of full frontal assault. Phoenix is trying to look for damage, but nicely placed turret over here at the production is going to help to zone them out.
Interestingly, we actually see, oh, the Phoenix is going to catch the medevacs as they pop out. Really nice positioning, just being so ready for that by Patience. But Semper reacted quickly, got on top of it, and didn't take the damage. Oh, okay. So we do see a lot of Phoenixes. We're stopping at 6 Phoenixes for now for Patience. But behind this, he's not taking a third just yet. It looks like he's going to go for it soon. But he's going for Immortals and lots of Adepts, lots of Gateways. And he's getting up his bouncing extra attack speed, whatever we want to call it, resonating glaives, that's what it's called. The adept attack speed upgrade. So it looks like there's the chance for a big push to come out of Patience, because he is going up to 7 gateways. 7 gateways, still hasn't dropped a Nexus, and if you look at his units, they're positioned to deny the vision of a third base. Semper has no idea if there's a third down or not. And it looks like Patience just wants to mass up units to hit up a really scary timing. If Semper kind of walks into this, gets surrounded, there's no retreat. There's 7 Phoenix in the air, an 8th one about to pop. He needs to be so careful with this army right now. This is so scary.
Pretty far away here. He gets on top of the Immortals, which is nice, but those shields help out quite a bit. The tank dealing out the damage, going to try and keep it alive with that drop. The Phoenixes, though, hunting down the units. He's going to have to get rid of that tank before he loses it, helping to pick up a couple of the units. As the retreat comes down, the tank falls down, but is immediately dealt with. And chasing down with these Phoenix absolutely routed the force of the Terran there.
Yeah, it was the trap. It was exactly what Patience wanted. He made it look like he was trying to go for the third base, but he was actually just massing units, and then Semper moving out at the worst possible time right into Patience's army, and Patience's super mobile, super fast-paced army is just crushing through here. There is way too much damage output there for the Protoss player. The Terran player, Semper, has so few units left, and he is really struggling right now. GG, well played. Damn.
Well played. I mean, it's 2-1 now, right? All right.
That's 2-1 for Patience.
2-1 for Patience. Moving into our next map next, but that was intense. That was pretty wild. Keep in mind, I'd like to mention in this short commercial break that this show match and the show match before it and the show match after it, all brought to you by Azubu. So go ahead and make an Azubu account. Follow Azubu on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. And once you do all of those things in combination, just go ahead and tweet out your Azubu ID to us, and you will be submitted for a victorious, wonderful, fantastic, free $10.net money.
And we actually already have a couple of winners, which I'll announce now. So after our first 2 winners for $10 BattleNet gift cards are OFU, is what we're going to call him. We won't say the full name. And Silence SC. So congrats, guys. You've both won a $10 BattleNet gift card. As we said before, pretty good chance of winning that. So good job signing up on that. And guys, we are going to pick another winner after this series. So yeah, hop on to do that. Let me just bring it up once more. It is basically just follow Team Gravity and @Azubu TV on the Twitters. And tweet your Azubu TV username. So just tweet your name. Just be like, this is my name. And that's all you need to do. You're in the running. Get some gift cards. So that's some good stuff. Definitely sign up for that, guys.
Yep. And also, let's not forget Spawning Tool, one of the coolest tools that exist. I suggest it to people all the time. It's not just because they're sponsoring this event, because Spawning Tool is actually just an awesome program to use. They're adding functionality and new metrics and new ways to do things all the time. You can even integrate it with GG Tracker, and you can integrate it with Salt, so that way you can actually have audio build orders in game. So you can be like, what's the best build? It's this, it's Spawning Tool. How do I learn it? audio build order in the game. Really awesome stuff. Really fast way to learn build, especially if you're a new player. Getting those first couple of builds down can be tough. Audio build orders a lot of time can be, one of the quickest ways to get those down.
It's always cool to have those tools helping players. I know that in the past there have been periods in StarCraft where people have like struggled to find the resources. Where can I find good build orders? Where can I find good tools? And it's cool to see websites like this coming out now and consolidating content and resources in a single space. So that is really awesome. You guys should definitely check it out. For now, we do have game 4 of the series. Patience is up 2-1 against Semper. Semper taking a very impressive game 1, but Patience rolling over him in that last game with a surprise attack. So launching here into Moonlight Madness, we will be going in and spawning here in the top right-hand side. Our Terran representative playing for Team Gravity, it is Semper.
And representing Dead Pixels Gaming, it is the Pink Protoss Patience.
Big boy Patience.
Yeah.
Getting in on the big boy action. And of course, this is Moonlight Madness. We talked about it in the previous series, how it's a little bit of a crazy map. It's a little bit out there. In PvT, historically in HOTS, this was a map where Protoss players did struggle a lot to defend drops. You've got these two kind of ground avenue attack paths into the different directions of your 3 bases. You've got so much drop area, so much space in your main base, so many areas for Widow Mines to like cut off between your bases outside of Nexus Overcharge. So I think here more than ever, we're going to see Pylon Overcharge, Pylon placement be very important for Patience to hang on, and potentially maybe even abuse these back rocks to get some of his own sneaky aggression on. Historically, Oracles have been really big here, but any sort of airplay is very nice because there's just so much space around the back of the bases.
Yeah, even on top of that, just some nice places. You want to get really creative with some proxies or things like that. There's a lot of positions that you can take with air units where you can sort of get away from the ground units. There's a lot of ledges and cliffs, and vision is needed in the air to deal with this stuff. Semper opening up with a command center first into 2 quick barracks, whereas Patience here is just going to be opening up with a 1 gas gateway expand.
Yeah, interestingly, Patience has been scouting very quickly the last 2 games. So this has allowed him to see exactly what Semper's doing and really get an idea of the game plan, especially early on in the game when things aren't as figured out. It's so fantastic to just always go for this early scout if you're confident in kind of the general motions in which you want to react to how your opponent's playing. And Patience has really showed us that in the last game. We see that after seeing the CC first, he actually sped up his Nexus, got that really early before the core went down, and he is now going for that fast Stargate at home. So Patience here, feeling very calm, very comfortable, and already sending a probe towards his 3rd base. I think reading that 3CC play, Patience is saying, oh, sure. That fast command center first. He's saying, yeah, I'll take a 3rd base. You're not going to be aggressive for a while. I'm going to keep you back with some air units, and this is going to play well into the way that I want to play this game.
We see this build again from Semper, the quick 3 barracks, moving directly into mass marine production here. Adept going to come in, scout some things out. Going to get a kill on 1 marine. Will it be 2? I think so. Yes, indeed it will. Chooses to cancel the teleport and go ahead and teleport again for another, but it looks like he's going to just run. Or he's going to sack this. Yeah, there we go. Cancels the teleport and gets out of there with his 14 measly hit points left over. Ugh. Wishes for the days when it had 200 hit points.
Is it just me, or does the Adept remind... I don't know if you ever played Warcraft 3, but does it just remind you a lot of the Huntress? Because it really reminds me of the Huntress unit.
Unfortunately, I've never played Warcraft 3. I went directly from Warcraft 2 to StarCraft.
Well, that's all right. It just means you've missed out on,
the greatest game of all time, I've heard.
That's fine. Anyway, there's the Oracle coming across now, so that's fine. I'll regale you with stories of the Huntress when we've got a bit of downtime. But the Oracle coming in now, gonna pick up an SCV. Oh, gonna go for a Marine there. Patience picking up what he can, and oh, bare natural SCV. Say goodbye. Getting a nice bit of damage done. Oh, very good micro, keeping the Oracle acceleration going, and that is fantastic. You can really see the caliber of Patience's play. Keeping that Oracle moving at all times, never stops when he shoots, always keeps it moving again. Because the moment you stop moving with an Oracle, it's like starting a big semi-trailer truck or something. It's really slow. But if you keep it moving, its momentum actually carries it through really well. So Patience, keeping it moving there, keeping it gliding around the targets, was very, very nice.
Actually, one of the engine changes in Legacy of the Void to allow units like the Oracle to perform moving shots a little bit better and stay a little bit more agile. And it's really cool to see players already picking up on that and really utilizing it to its full effect.
Did they change that for all air units? Like, because I know the Mutalisks are like way better now. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that was just it was just a way that the air units behave when they're decelerating and when they're especially when they're in groups. Makes a really big difference when they're in groups. It used to be the case that one or two would slow down depending on what was attacking and what was not attacking, and the other ones would slide ahead. But now they all are together, they all slide together, or they all stop together, and they're very much more responsive than they used to be. So a lot of nice little tweaks coming in under the hood for Legacy of the Void, little quality of life changes here and there that I really appreciate. It makes me super happy.
Oh yeah. And I mean, that Oracle's doing a great job so far, just scouting everything, seeing what's going on. He's like, hey, wait, you don't have a third command center yet. And of course, Patience has been incredibly greedy so far. Oh, loses the Oracle. Damn. That's going to be a bit harsh. He wanted to really kind of tag the army in the near future and try and see what was going on. But if we look, Patience is up at like 60 probes, 3 bases. He's got a ton of gateways. He's got Blink. He's got his +1 finish now, but his army is quite small. So him being out of the map's actually a little bit dangerous as the army builds up for Semper. Semper's only just starting his 3rd command center now, but Patience, look at this. He's just so brave. It doesn't matter the situation. He's just going to stay out of the map. And look, you can see the fear in Semper's play. Semper's like,
oh yeah, sitting one out at a time.
He doesn't know there's a 3rd Nexus. So seeing those Blink Stalkers in Semper's head right now, he's like, oh no, Patience might be going for a huge Blink timing. I've just got to get my 3rd up and defend. Little does he know, Patience is like, my 3rd has been mining for minutes, bro. Like, I am so far ahead in the economy right now. We don't see any Disruptor tech, just the Adept upgrade, and it looks like just Blink Stalker Adept right now seems to be the focus for Patience, but he's really looking to play this bullying style of play. Oh, absolutely. Stalker on the back base.
Ooh. I don't know about that Blink there. Put a lot of his, very expensive units up in the front. Semper manages to pick off all the sentries. Well done. But unfortunately for him, the Protoss army is not as reliant on the sentry to be powerful as it once was. These Adepts really allowing the Gateway Force to have a strong backbone and to be able to take engagements against Terran without needing the force fields. So really nice changes there. Going to go ahead and scout forward with these Adepts to get a feel for where his opponent's army is, which is out of position. He's going to run to this base, and it doesn't get canceled. It looks like he's going to blink in here, kill all these forces off, and he should be able to target this command center down. All the forces streamlining over, but it's too late. He takes out the base. Excellent play there. Moving forward, getting the scout, realizing, okay, my opponent is out of position. Going to blink in, make that happen, and again, moves in with the Adepts over here. He's running into the middle line. This could be absolutely crazy if he goes for it. Nice block up at the top. He is going to make the change here. We have the Marines in position, but they don't do all that well. Some of these Adepts at the bottom getting picked off, and unfortunately, only 3 workers killed here. But at this point in time, Patience is in a nice lead. So any worker kills that he can get here helps him further that out.
The first 2 disruptors are popping right now, the first disruptor, but now there's 2 building at a time, double robo disruptor production. And, Patience, sure, he committed a lot to this pressure, but he killed the 3rd base. He's mining so much more, and he's way ahead in supply right now. He's adding upgrades. He's got a Warp Prism in position, and adding the disruptors, that's going to put him in a fantastic situation in this game. He's looking very good. Semper right now, finally getting out of the map. And isn't that just the story of this series? Semper being pinned back by Patience, or simply sitting back by choice. but Patience has had so much freedom because Semper hasn't been able to slow him down at all. Finally, posturing up, looking to be aggressive, then the Warp Prism comes in the back and starts killing so many workers. Does cancel his big Adept Warp in there. Patience smartly cancels that. But Semper's pushing in the front side. He's going to come in, focusing down probes, pylons. The Mothership Core is nowhere to be found. There's so many pylons, but there's no overcharge for them. And he's going to clear out all of the probes on this base. Oh my god. And Liberators on the backside on the south as well. Killed so many probes. 41
workers killed. My god. If there was ever a play that was going to put him into advantage, how about that? And we're at 33 workers to 50. Absolutely amazing. Not to mention lost mining time. He just needs to sit back right now and soak in his economic advantage, turn it into a nice big army, and make a strong attack.
That was really fantastic move there out of Semper. He's really turned this game around. And, I mean, his natural's even getting really low on resources. His main's almost out. So he will need to take a 4th base soon. But, I mean, he's just crippled the economy of Patience on the other side of things. Patience only at 41 probes versus the 52 SCVs, plus triple meal dropping. And we see Patience's army roaming around the map now. It looks like Patience has got to that 3 disruptors, but, completely
nice
out of position. Huge drop in the back. Nice pylon overcharges, but the bio just shut that down very quickly. And, oh man, how do you defend this? Patience looks like he just doesn't want to. He wants to push the front. But with bunkers there, with Widow Mines, this is going to be a really hard push. The Disruptor shots going in on the front takes out the 2 Widow Mines. Oh, Patience microing his Disruptor shots a bit more carefully, but they're all down.
And he's going to move in here with the bio directly going forward. None of these shots, all of the Disruptors are on cooldown. He's chasing it down in the main base. He's managed to clean up the drop, but we are down some more workers. It is 37 workers to 50 as Semper pushes off that last attack. Still in a very nice position here, and the Warp Prism laying in wait for another move. Fortunately, this time around, Semper has managed to place down a couple of Widow Mines just in case that were to happen. And as I say, is that he moves them out of position forward and away to once again expose this area for an attack.
This is Semper's moment. The Disruptor shots are down. One Disruptor goes down. The second Disruptor's down. Semper getting his high value targets now, engaging the Adept Stalker. But those Adepts shredded the Marines at the front. The Marauders, though, they are impervious to these units that do not do enough damage. So Semper still pushing forward, exerting that pressure. 4th Command Center's on the way behind this. Double Liberator's on the way behind this. And what have we got? Just pure Stalker Adept fighting this Bioforce. But it's a pretty small Bioforce. I think Semper might be overextending here.
Yep, just a little bit. He's trying to get some nice Widow Mine shots off, but I'm afraid that's not going to be enough. Really nice shots. One and second one there, also hitting, killing off quite a few units there. And he's going to be pushed back across the map despite of his good shots. He's pushing across. His production, though, is absolutely insane. Look at the production tab right now. Only 2 Disruptors coming in and everything else going on for Semper. Really, the long-term play is really in the hands of Semper at this point in time. The economy totally ravaged. Patience is in deep. If he wants to get out of this game, he's really going to have to make some nice plays here. He is pushing out. He's trying to create some opportunities for himself to make these plays, moving over into the top with some Blink Stalkers. We have 1 bunker to defend that kind of harassment. The rest of the army is out of position, but when I say the rest of the army, there isn't all that much army going on the left side of the map here. He's going to be able to take out a couple of workers and a couple of things. And he's just going to leave the game. Well, yeah. You know, that's one way to do it when all of those workers get killed off there.
He was losing
19
another 11
more workers got killed while I was talking there. That was absolutely nuts. Yeah.
I mean, I thought Semper was screwed. I was kind of like, oh, we seeing it, you know, foreign players too defensive, Korean dudes like taking not only risks but also being aggressive while taking risks, like. And then it's just like, bam, the triple drop hits, the 2 Liberators hit, 2 mineral lines gone in an instant. Really careful, precise play from Semper, so very impressive.
Yep, and that's all he needs. She's just waiting out for that one moment in time, waits till the army's out of position, bam, 40 dead workers. See you later. Oh, yeah.
So I definitely think, I mean, Patience might be considering now. I mean, it's 2-2. We're going to the final, what some people call the ace match, but the final match. It is the rubber match, the important match. And I think Patience has got to be kind of thinking in his head right now, what do I do? We're going to Dash and Terminal. do I go back to the Phoenix style? Because the Phoenix style is what's given him his wins this time, this game. He's been able to dictate the pace with the Phoenix. He's thrown Semper off his game, and that's really allowed him to kind of disrupt the economy of Semper while Semper's being so defensive. And we haven't really seen him be successful with his Stalker Disruptor control. He's taken some edges with it, but it's usually only really worked off the back of Phoenix openings that have shut down the drops, that have allowed him to control the map. So I definitely think Patience going into this final game, he's got to be thinking about going back to that style.
Yeah, and that coupled with the likelihood of a 1-1-1 from the Terran player. But first, before we get to that, let's introduce our players spawning in the top center location. We have the pink Protoss. It's 2-2. He's got to win this one to win it all. It's Patience.
Of course, spawning in on Dash and Terminal. He is going to be facing up against his opponent here, also tied 2-2 with his opponent. Representing Team Gravity, it is Semper. Semper showing us some really good matches here. I did have a feeling from playing Semper in the beta so far that he'd put up a good match, but I kind of just assumed, oh, it's Patience. He's such a great player. He's probably going to, take this one 3-1, something like that. But now here at 2-2, it's looking much closer than I expected. And Semper, I mean, he's going for a Barracks Gas build here, and looks like he might be heading towards some of that fast harassment once more. It's done pretty decently for him in the games where it's kind of gone across the map with those medevacs, Widow Mines, Hellions, that sort of stuff. But once again, Patience, he's looking out for this, and his Probe Scout's going to come in, and he's going to see the possibility of this right away.
Really early Probe Scout, just really, just making sure, especially in this last game that matters so much, that he has all the information he could possibly gather on his opponent, be totally prepared for what's about to happen. He sees the reactor go down. He's even getting back in there. He really wants to know. It's like, all right, what are you going to go for? Where are your buildings? Where are you going to place them? And taking a Nexus behind them.
Interestingly, we are going to be seeing a command center dropping. So this is kind of the reactor expand Terran style.
Right.
Very solid build order. Not the same as the one he played on Ruins of SERAS, where he really committed, killed a bunch of probes, killed some stuff, and then was still even or maybe even slightly behind. So I think this is going to be a much more balanced build for him. He's going to have more options, and that's really good because Patience is scouting so early every game. He's getting really good pylon placement down to prepare for drops. So I think this is a nice way to mix things up. Semper now dropping his factory is going to be teching up, and he has himself scouted across, seen a very standard layout for Patience. He basically just scouted the double gas, scouted the core and the gateway, and is looking very damn nice.
And like you said before, Phoenix might be the way to go for Patience. He did just drop that Stargate. Nice and close spawning positions. We do have the option of oracles, of course. He's shown he's got great oracle control as well, so keeping that in mind. He's going to be chrono boosting out his probes and gaining the economic advantage here as we see one adept move across the map. We have the second adept coming in after it, so not just the single adept for a scout. We'll see if he follows it up after for a second, a third even. No, just two for the time being, and going to drop the Robo, scouting out these Marines here in the front.
Oh, the Adept Scout coming in, and does cancel that. Being very careful with his Adepts. Oh, is he going to get another SCV? Already killed the Scouting SCV on the map. Patience putting on a good amount of pressure here, forcing these depot lifts, and this is really great. And this is what the Adept allows Protoss to do in Legacy, is it can scout. It can scout the front of the base, it can see how many Marines you've got. You can't stop him from spotting your command center or anything like that. Like, you're always going to see at least the front of that wall in. And that Adept, I mean, it's actually given some great vision so far. Oh, coming in with another 2 shades. One thing he hasn't spotted, though, is the factory. He doesn't realize right now there's actually Cyclones and Mag Field Accelerator upgrade on the way. Oh my god, what's he got planned?
Ooh. This is very fortunate, as the air unit here are going to be coming in across to deal. No turret available. If that Cyclone had not been built, this would have been crazy death times. But guess what? Crazy death times instead for the Protoss. That second Oracle still coming out. He's going to stay committed to it, but now that he knows that we're dealing with some Cyclones here, a little bit different stuff here on the last game, He's going to be a little bit, I think, more careful with this, not running into the fray immediately. And Proxy Pylon coming down as well. So it looks like he's gearing up for a little bit of aggression.
Oh man, another Oracle coming in, but it's going to fly right into 2 Cyclones this time.
Oh no!
Oh, patience. This is horrible.
What is
Semper.
What? Did he not see how the first Oracle died? I don't. That is a rough scenario there. Losing. I mean, did he get any damage done? I don't think he killed anything.
No, he's only killed the 1 scouting SCV this entire game. He's lost one of his adepts. The
Brutal.
unit's lost tab. There's only 100 resources left for the Terran, lost for Terran, whereas there's 725. 2 Oracles and an Adept lost for our Protoss player, Patience. Patience is feeling the hurt this game. And keep in mind, he hasn't gone for that Phoenix style. He doesn't have a way to fully shut down or control the drop play. He is looking to take a fast third base, but look at this. This time around, Semper, he's got that edge with those early Cyclones, and now he's even scouting this attempt to take the third. Killing the probe with that Marine, you can just feel the presence that Semper has in this game, and we see it now with this Cyclone Marine push coming across the map. Blink's on the way, but I mean, these Cyclones are going to be able to micro for days. This is a very scary push. Oh, Semper's going to be committing a lot to it.
Marines and Cyclones in combination have been very, very strong against Protoss from the very first day of the beta. And they still are so. Going to get some lockdowns over here right on that Nexus pylon, or pylon overcharge, however you would like to call it. Going to be able to, take down that.
Wow.
Oh, that's a really nice move as well. Going to get a little bit of lockdown here. He's got to keep that Cyclone that's weak in the back just a little bit. We have observers here just flying out of range of that scan. And this is just an absolute, look at that micro from the Cyclones, keeping them all alive, just barely there with that red Cyclone, but still dealing tons of damage to the gateway force of Patience. Just what do you do in this kind of a scenario?
Oh my God. I mean, Blink's about to finish. His Mothership Core is out again, but he's already taken so much damage. His third's been delayed. Meanwhile, Semper's not, like, this is not an all-in.
Oh, but look at the main base, 16, 18 workers down. Such a huge adept attack here. 20 SCVs, 21 SCVs, and it's still going. So much economy, absolutely crushed. This is a gigantic move. Absolutely swinging the entire momentum of the game. Too much patience, too much attention was being paid there to the Cyclone Micro, and he lost his entire economy because of it. Oh my God, what a huge play.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm banning pink and yellow next time around, so I actually watch the minimap and see what's going on so I can talk about it. But damn, this Adept drop has just destroyed everything. Oh, man. Even more kills going down in the natural. This is just fantastic. That Warp Prism going in. Patience realizing that Semper's attention needed to be at the front, and that Prism has done massive damage. That has been absolutely staggering. And I mean, Semper, he's got his 3rd command center down. That's his only saving grace right now. But even dropping double mules with 18 SCVs mining, like, he needs to pull off gas right now, put everything on minerals, and just focus on building, like, I don't know, SCVs and Marines. But look at this. Patience isn't going to give him time. Not going for the 3rd Nexus. Instead, he's pushing at the front. He's got sentries, adepts, stalkers, and immortals. And he's coming in hard and fast. The Warp Prism coming in to reinforce some very nice force fields going down. The Cyclone adding some damage output. But it looks like the Warp Prism's going to split off. It's going to drop in the main while the rest of the army postures at the front. And behind this, Patience adding his 3rd base, adding some pylons there. He's going to be just continuing to harass, continuing to pressure Semper while probing up behind it.
Yeah, just really intense move here. A lot of times when you get that economic lead, you really want to wait and push it out, but he's just so active on the map, finding all of these holes to poke in. He's just pushing him deeper and deeper into the economic deficit. 23 SCVs to 54 probes here. It's the story of this game, absolutely nuts. You know, gotta hand it to Semper, especially with the last game. Doing a lot of scans, getting a lot of information, trying to make really good decisions here, but that one move just absolutely changing the entire feeling of the game.
And it is now an uphill battle for Semper, building just 3 SCVs at a time, a couple medevacs, a couple Marines, and combat shields. He doesn't have room to move his tech forward very far. It's all just about recovering his economy and surviving. But with the amount of pressure that Patience is putting on here, it's very scary. Patience very reliant on force fields right now. This is a pretty scary position for him as well. Semper, he looks a bit eager. He looks like he wants to go out here, but those force fields, oh. combined with the bunker, I mean, that engineering bay is actually working against Semper right now. He's in such a hard position. Oh, he's tipping out!
Nice focus fire down. Excellently done there. Manages to stop it, but the problem is there's just too much frost. He loses almost all of his army. He's got the Liberator in a nice position, but it's not going to be enough. He blinks forward, takes out the Liberator. He's got these 2 Immortals as well to add extra damage. The bunker is being repaired. Can it be it? But no, the force field goes down, and this is looking like a very, very rough scenario for Rep Meest, a.k.a. Semper. A little bit of disruptor play available here. The cooldown is off. Looking to make another big hit here. He's going to move down over. Ah, yes, sees it coming. He's going to go ahead and try to keep that 3rd base alive. He does need a really precarious place for an engineering bay. Like, really, that's very a vulnerable place for it to be. Nice move here with the Cyclone. Cyclones are one of those units, if you can micro it perfectly, it can really net you a huge advantage. As you can see here, just very much for free, taking out that Immortal. But unfortunately, it's not enough to dwindle this force down to the point where he's safe. He's still very much under pressure, very much behind in economy, and this force is just absolutely crushing.
Patience, his 3rd is fully saturated right now. He's continuing to bully his way around the map. He's now got 2 disruptors in here. Oh, the Adept's going for a dive, trying to distract. He's going to blink forward underneath the Liberators, but those Liberators are doing huge damage. 1 Liberator goes down. The Disruptors haven't fired at all yet. Both Disruptors being focused down before they fire. Really poor micro from Patience, but he's just got so many units that it's kind of working out for him nonetheless. The Liberators, though, continuing to kill a lot of these Protoss units. This is a really awkward engage there from Patience. I'm not sure what he was thinking. His Disruptors did not fire at all. Very awkward engagement. But Semper, I mean, he's just so outnumbered at this point. It's going to be very difficult for him to stage a comeback.
Yeah, it's almost like the Zerg just trade inefficiently, keep throwing stuff at them. If you just keep trading, even if you're a little bit behind, because of your economy, because it's so far ahead, you can afford to make these trades and you're still going to win the game. Just absolutely taking control of this match, pushing and pushing and pushing and being relentless in the attacks, making the cost-inefficient trades, and still going to be able to be in an advantageous position despite the fact that these were non-cost-efficient engagements for Patience.
Oh, the Shade's going in, continuing to scout absolutely everything. A beautiful time warp on the north side of that. And he's going to blink forward. The Liberator goes down. No more zoning control for you. The Disruptor shot in the mineral line. And he forces the GG out of Semper. A very nice play by Patience there. I mean, he was looking in trouble. He lost 2 Oracles in a row to Cyclones for free. But then, you know, Semper just was so focused on the micro at the front. And Patience looked impotent for a little bit, and then we realized, oh, there's a Warp Prism in Semper's main base, and those Adepts just shredded everything.
I feel like that's just one of these things that has really appeared a lot in Legacy of the Void with units like the Disruptor, with units like the Cyclone. They require so much micro APM and attention that a lot of the game is becoming, in these matches that we were seeing, about knowing where your opponent is focusing their attention and making sure you're in position to get something done while they're, you know, focused in on their micro. So just really excellent play, excellent timing, tactical play, positional play from Patience to win out 3-2. Of course, we'd like to shout out our sponsors, Azubu. It would be not possible without you, Azubu. If you want to win, which I think we're going to be announcing, if I'm correct, we're going to be announcing a winner coming up here. If you want to win, like the person who's about to win right now, 10 free Blizzard dollars to spend on any Blizzard anything that you would like. You can just go ahead and follow Azubu TV and Team Gravity on Twitter and type into it at us what your Azubu ID is in chat, and then we will give you maybe the $10 if you win. So without any further ado, throw it over to Pig.
So yeah, the winner announcing, it is Rizcraz, R-I-S-C-R-A-S. Rizcraz, you are our 3rd gift card winner of tonight. You won a $10 Battle.net gift card. $10, man. Go buy yourself a Hearthstone card for your Illidan to ride on, or whatever you kids do in that Heroes of the Storm game. Just kidding, of course. I'm sure you're all hardcore StarCraft fans, and we all know StarCraft fans aren't allowed to play other video games.
That's right,
so,
very important.
It's true. It's a fact of life. Otherwise, Reddit will hate you.
Right.
But yeah, it's all good fun. So yeah, guys, support the sponsors. Check them all out. We are going to be going to a quick break. But after that, we have the crowning match, the awesome match. We have a best of 7 between Dong Rei Gu, the Dong God, the true God, the Church of the Dong, going up against Samsung's Bravo, a very good Terran player. So we've got a really good ZVT coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.